Hi everyone. I wanted to chat about the importance of the placement of our shapes. They don't always have to be in the perfect golden mean, picturesque position, but where we place and what we do with those shapes in comparison to the other elements in the painting. See how this painting is built on the power and the placement of that white or that light value up against these other shapes. So it's combining those shapes. But there's really not a great deal to this scene, and I think that's what I really love about it. It's more on atmosphere, it's more on creating depth, not detail. So this is another Elliot Gruner right here. And really it's a Blue Mountains, which is west of Sydney, and it's all relying on just a few little shapes in the foreground. He's gone much warmer, and then just a few lovely little atmospheric shapes of the cliff faces. The Blue Mountains is kind of known as Australia's Grand Canyon, but not with all the erosion. It's called the Blue Mountains because I believe of all the oil in the gum trees caught in the valley. Well, that was the story that we were mostly told anyway. But see how there's so little in it, but it's still so powerful. I remember as a young artist going out painting and trying to look for these scenes that would really sort of wow the audience and sort of be super spectacular, where I was most of the time going straight past a fairly simple scene. Say this is just a little orchard, this is another Elliot Gruner, just with a little figure, and you can see the power of this concept is if I take that element out of the picture, then the eye tends to wander. And that's actually a great way to actually tell how your own painting's going, is to actually cover up your primary focal point. And then technically there should be just a secondary and then possibly a tertiary. So we still do have the three elements, or we could even almost say that without that focal other figure, we'd have a 1, 2, and then a 3 there. So all based on the simplification. And then here we have one by Graham Inson, who was more of a contemporary artist. Actually, I think he only passed away within the last 6 or 10 years. But once again, it looks like actually a golf course. He's got the figures placed there in a beautiful spot. So it's really just a couple of shapes that have a human-like appearance that tells, and that is the narrative of a golf coursey type grassy situation. Looks a little misty. He's created lovely depth going back through there. Looks like an overcast day. But once again, that concept of simpleness, not trying to overdo and wow the audience, because a lot of times they just become far too complex to read well. I was actually painting a painting from Sydney, and it was a boathouse, 2 jetties, a little beach, going back to a strip of atmospheric blue, little hill in the background. And the more I was painting along, I was thinking, this could be a great scene, but I haven't worked out the best way to simplify it yet. But that was the complexity of that situation. And that's where I thought, you know what, let's try and most of the time keep it as simple as possible. This is a little pencil drawing by JJ Hilda, and this is a big area of nothing with just a few little darker little accents to show that it is foliage, and then just a little figure there. And once again, if I were to take this shape out, the painting, or the little drawing, almost sort of disappears, and still a really lovely treatment. And I think that was the skill of JJ Hilda's work. He was another Queenslander actually, And this was just a sweet little watercolour. And I believe this is in Brisbane, actually, not far from where I live. But once again, and it was actually this painting that reminded me of just how simple we can paint. Like there's a little figure there. Take out some of these little darks, and the painting would be just an absolute mid-tone, but he's powered it up with a few lovely placed darks. So I think my advice is plan your painting, plan where you're going to place those shapes. Is it in the best area? Is it too big? Is it too small? Is it too complex? And I think this is a great place to, especially if you're in the earlier period of your journey, is to keep it simple. And then once we get success there, then you can build on this to greater success and more interesting scenes and ultimately more complex scenes. So, because I do believe painting is more psychology, or just as much psychology as natural talent. Definitely takes a lot of practice, and that's where the psychology actually probably comes in the most, because it's trial, error, success, trial, and it's through the disappointments that we have to stay positive, keep in a positive direction with our overall work. So, okay, folks, love seeing the work in the daily stuff. All the best. Talk to you next time. Bye. When it comes to art, there is no single right or wrong answer. However, there are still a lot of concepts and techniques that students need to learn to create a strong visual language. This course is designed to help you develop and find your own visual language so that you can start expressing yourself more confidently, because over the years I've studied and noted the areas where students tend to struggle the most. And then I've delved deeply into these topics. So we will cover the basics of colour, edge, how to achieve a strong contrast from light to dark, focal points, and creating depth so that you can start to use it effectively in your work. I'll demonstrate a wide range of subjects which I believe will broaden your horizons and allow you to gain experiences that you may have only dreamed of trying. By the end of this course, you'll have a better understanding of how to express your own visual language and create artwork that is both successful and expressive. I invite you to join me for an exciting year of learning and exploration.